Darayus with sports.
Thanks, Henry. March Madness is officially underway, and the first round of games for college basketball tournament will continue tonight. If you find yourself rooting for the underdog, a sports psychologist says there are reasons for that. Mandy Gaither has more on the science.
March Madness is here. You may find yourself jumping on the underdog bandwagon, and your brain is what's driving you there, says Jamie Houle, a sports psychologist with the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center.
It's almost gratifying when folks that are supposed to win don't.
Houle says there's a science behind the desire to pull for the underdog. First, we can relate to them, even if we're not aware of it.
What it makes us believe is that maybe at some point we might be able to do something great, overcome some kind of odds that seem like overwhelming.
There's always an expectation that the best teams will win, but when that doesn't happen, Houle says we find joy in the unexpected.
When we see people who are really great mess up, it makes us go, okay, cool. Maybe I'm not that different than everybody else.
Many times fans root against a team as much as they root for one. Houle says that's our brain's way of wanting things to be fair.
We want justice, so we want things to be kind of equal, and when they're not equal, that doesn't really feel good to us.
Indianapolis.
And finally, we often find an unexpected outcome to simply be more exciting.
We want chaos because it's kind of more fun to watch than the regular things we do every day.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
There are some great matchups on both the men's and women's sides of the bracket tonight. Taking a look at the upcoming women's schedule, fans will have a chance to see the top 3 seeds play later this evening. 2-seed Texas will take on Fairfield at 8, while 3rd-seed Iowa and top-ranked Stanford both play at 10. On the men's side of things, Coach Mike Krzyzewski will lead the Duke Blue Devils into the tournament for one final time, later tonight at 7:10 when they take on Cal State Fullerton. And for more in sports, Ohio baseball returned to action today as they welcomed in Kent State. Recap of today's game coming up next on NewsWatch. All this and more on the other side of this break. And be sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station. Welcome back, everyone. Ohio's baseball's weekend is off to a good start. The Bobcats took down Kent State earlier this afternoon 9-4. Eddie Cutt got the start for Ohio and pitched into the 7th inning, but in the 8th, Kent tied the game off Brett Manis. A.J. Rosh, however, put the Bobcats back on top with an inside-the-park home run, his 2nd homer of the day. Rosh says he wanted a strong performance today.
I mean, I knew this was going to be a big game. Last week got cut short because of weather, start off conference play, so everybody just, wanted to compete, give their best, and, the emotions, I was just going up to the box and competing. So that's what I did today, and, 2 big hits. So
Ohio and Kent State continue their series tomorrow with a doubleheader. First pitch for Game 1 is set for noon. The Ohio softball team looks to keep their momentum going after a big-time victory at home. The Bobcats are in the midst of a doubleheader today in Buffalo. We're still waiting for a score from Game 1. And this comes after Ohio knocked off Marshall Wednesday in its home opener in Athens. The Bobcats trailed 5-1 after 5 innings, but the Bobcats rallied with 7 runs in the next 2 innings for a final score of 8-7. Fifth-year Bobcat Torrey Walker scored 2 runs, propelling the Bobcats to their 6th win of the year. Ohio will need her bat in today's doubleheader against Buffalo. First pitch for tomorrow's rubber match is set for 2 p.m. The Ohio women's basketball season has come to a close after an underwhelming year. The Bobcats faced off against South Dakota State University on the road yesterday as part of the 2022 Women's NIT. Unfortunately, they were unable to get back in the win column, falling 87-57. Freshman Yaya Felder was the bright spot for Ohio in this one. She had one of her best games of the entire year, dropping a team-high 20 points and securing 3 steals. The Bobcats finished the 2021-22 campaign with a 15-15 overall record. The men's basketball team begins the final stretch of its season this weekend. The Bobcats face off against Rice University at the Roman College Basketball Invitational in Daytona Beach, Florida. Rice finished its season with a 16-16 record overall, which included a 7-11 record in Conference U.S. play. Jeff Bowles and his crew look to bounce back after a disappointing result last week after falling to Kent State in the MAC tournament semifinals. Tomorrow's game tips off at 7:30 p.m. The Cleveland Browns have acquired Deshaun Watson as part of a monumental trade package. It was reported earlier in the week that Watson was not planning on signing with the team, but that did not stop the Browns from going after the now former Houston Texans quarterback. According to sources from Cleveland.com, the Browns have traded 3 first-round picks, 1 third-round pick, and 1 fourth-round pick to Houston for Watson. They are signing him to a 5-year, $230 million guaranteed deal. The 3-time Pro Bowler became a target of the Browns after a grand jury declined to indict him on sexual misconduct claims made by 22 women. The Cleveland Cavaliers continue to struggle with their playoff hopes. They're on thin ice. The Cavs have struggled to stay in the win column after losing All-Star Jared Allen last week to injury. Their most recent game Wednesday against the Philadelphia 76ers was a snapshot into their skid. The Cavs scratched and clawed their way back from down big early on to take a 90-85 lead after 3 quarters. But the firepower from Philly was just too much to handle. The 76ers outscored Cleveland 33-24 in the final quarter, leading to a 4-point loss. Sixers star Joel Embiid finished with a double-double of 35 points and 17 rebounds. The Cavs look to get back to their winning ways starting tonight when they take on the Denver Nuggets. I'm Darayus Sethna, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Fallon.